we go.
Announcement, and we will commence boarding in a few minutes.
All right, we have touched down in Sulawesi, and look at where we found ourselves. Yeah, we're at McDonald's. Classic, but when you need to eat on the go and there isn't really anywhere else like that we know of, it has to be done. It has to be done. This will be the one and only McDonald's feast of the trip, probably, assuming we don't grab some before we get to the airport, because there's not that many McDonald's in Sulawesi, trust me. Like, this area does get a fair few tourists due to diving, but inland, yeah, maybe there's a Pizza Hut. Yeah, there's Pizza Hut, and maybe a KFC as well in Tomohon, which is where we're going to head in a minute. It gets dark crazy early here. It gets dark 7 p.m. By 6 p.m. it's completely dark, which is just ridiculous to me, considering we're on the same time zone as Malaysia, where it gets dark by 8. That's because we're way more east on the planet. So it's already night. We're already losing herping time, but that's okay. We need to get some food, and then we'll get out after we get back. All right, and here we go, guys. We are out. We just met up with Leo, who's just on the other side of there. He's happened to be in Sulawesi at the same time as us, so we coordinated to meet here. And we're going to get searching. We're just going to search areas which are like walking distance from the hotel this time, and then go to some slightly more like exciting areas on the forthcoming nights. But it's nice to be able to just walk out of the hotel and look around, and hopefully something turns up tonight. Let's give it a good shot. I'm locked in. All right, our first snake has showed up. Unsurprisingly, it's the Celebes oriental vine snake. Slightly different from the ones we see on the mainland, just in patterning. But this is a very decent sized green adult, just sitting above the trail here, which we're going to leave in situ. We're not in Singapore anymore, so we actually can handle snakes here. I just don't want to disturb this one any more than we already have. But yeah, first snake. There'll be many of these, I'm sure. Looks like we're already back to our old tricks. Seen like 5 or 6 vine snakes. Nothing else, just walking about in challenging to hike and scuffed habitat, as is the norm around here. There isn't much in the way of good habitat, just a little bit down in some of the valleys, which we'll check out later. Just trying to use my dual light setup, one headlamp, one very powerful handheld, which is good in this kind of environment because the headlamp is lightweight and helps me traverse these dense areas easily. And I can whip out my very powerful handheld to shine like far away and look for any big vipers or even small vipers ambushing in the distance, high up trees or deep in vegetation where we can't walk so easily, like somewhere like in here. I'm locked in, guys, to see if we can turn something up that isn't prass tonight. That'd be a better start than our last first night where we only saw prass, if you guys remember that. Just because I'm bored and there's nothing else around, here's a much lower Hatila prasina that we can get like a proper look at. You can see that horizontal pupil. And this one has a really, really yellowish green coloration, like extremely yellowish green. Oop. Yeah, don't worry, buddy. Gonna leave you there. Oh, look at this guy. Oh, he's so grand. He's gonna jump away. He's gone. All right, there's a little bit of drizzle coming down, and I just spotted this Boiga irregularis juvenile cruising about very close, actually, to where we found the big one on the last trip. And this one is significantly nicer than the big one. Hold on, let me get this guy a bit more in hand. And oh, he's trying to bite everything all of a sudden. All right, I've deployed Leo on the handling for a second so we can get a slightly better look. As I was saying, yeah, it's got really nice strong banding on the anterior and generally a paler coloration. Definitely those anterior bandings are what makes it more distinct from the adult we saw before. And this does mean that we're off to a better start than the last trip where we only saw prasina on the first night. There's some drizzle coming down right now. I don't know if that will like extend to anything more, but it's nice to see a little boiga. This is the only boiga at this part of the island, I believe, regularis, and it's relatively common. But last time, of course, we only saw one, so definitely happy to tick this one off right away. Some snakes are active, and we're definitely going to keep searching because conditions are pretty good right now for snake activity, and this proves it. All right, we just upped our snake count to 3 species on the first night, with a species I didn't see on the last trip. This is a Marin's bronzeback, which is like the dominant bronzeback here in Sulawesi. We've seen these in the Philippines. I don't know what really the distinction is between the ones in the Philippines and here. I'm guessing there's some difference. I certainly don't remember ever seeing that green head on the Philippine ones. It's quite a pretty little bronzeback for like a kind of one of the more bland species compared to the other one on the island, Terrificus is definitely the more blind one. But the green head and bright yellow chin and little blue markings is still nice. It's still nice. And I'm certainly happy to rack up some species. Like I said, the weather conditions are good right now, and this guy was just chilling above this like little puddle on the side of the path here, which is up in this vegetation, and Leo spotted it there, which is nice. Cool. It's gone midnight now and we're still out here exploring. Just gone into the jungle at a slightly different spot, a little bit away from the typical area, doing very light walking tonight because I don't think I really mentioned this in detail, but my knee is just in some seriously bad condition. I fell on the Kelantan trip with Danny and bent my leg a direction it's not supposed to, and ever since then it's been so incredibly fragile, and certain motions and movements just elicit excruciating pain, and I really don't want that to ruin the whole trip. So I'm just kind of keeping it within an acceptable level today, seeing how it feels after tonight, and then we can start pushing the boundaries as the trip goes on. But I've got to be like sentient, as I've got another big trip almost as soon as this finishes. So we can't push it too hard this time, definitely not as hard as I went with Alex last time, but we've almost equaled the species count I had with Alex, so maybe it's not necessary to push it as hard this time. Maybe stuff will fall into our lap a little bit better. I'm just trying to see if we can squeeze one more thing out of tonight. This habitat at this spot is really nice, and I've seen subs here in the past, but we need something else. Hey, would you look at that, guys? We cooked up a fourth species of the night, and it's a mock viper, which is just doing mock viper things, trying to bite. Species I didn't see on Sulawesi last time, similar to the marinade that we caught not too long ago. And let's see if this guy is going to be nice for just a moment and let me film without chewing on me, because you guys know what mock vipers are like. They're some of the most evil snakes in the area. It's also very, very windy all of a sudden. We're considering whether some heavy rain might be coming in, but I can't believe we equaled the number of snakes we saw on the last trip in the first night. And while not a single Chopodelamus has showed up so far, I'm sure that's just a coincidence, and more will be coming on the horizon. But yeah, nice little rock viper that was spotted by Leo just walking in some dense jungle. I just brought it out here to a little cleared area to try and film it, but it's probably a bit windy now, so we're going to wrap up this clip and see if we can turn up one more snake before the end of the night. It's been fun for sure, and this guy stopped biting, which is nice. Oh, would you check that out? We actually got a fifth species in the end. I'm kind of in disbelief that this many species turned up tonight. And it's ridiculous. We got more species on the first night than I did on the whole trip last time. And trust me, the amount of kilometers of hiking we did was insane. Well, this is actually the first lifer of the trip for me. This is Dendrolaphis terrificus. Last time we saw 0 bronzebacks. Tonight we saw Dendrolaphis marinea, a tiny juvenile. And we got this nice, like, smaller size, but not tiny, terrificus, and which is kind of like a Cordo philippensis looking thing. As you can see towards the tail, it's very, very similar to Cordo with those stripes, almost identical. But if you look towards the head, very, very different to Cordo. And even the shape of the head is somewhat different to our friendly, familiar Cordo from the peninsula. It's a little bit more slender overall, I think. Very obviously a different species, albeit in the same group. There's some birds in the background going crazy, but I just caught this one while walking by myself on my way back to the others. And this will almost certainly be the last snake of the night, as we're about to reach the car and the chance of turning something else up where we've already walked to Slim. But if this is the last snake of the night, I will catch you guys very soon, as we're tired and we're going to get some rest. We'll be back out tomorrow to find more stuff. All right, new day here in Sulawesi, and we are just about ready to get things cracking. We're just taking care of a few errands in the daytime here, and come around like 4 or 5 p.m. when it starts getting a little bit darker, it's going to be the time where we head out. I don't know how loud it is because we're right by a main road here just grabbing some coffee, but tonight is going to be the night. I can feel it. Last night was a great warm-up. We saw a lot of species, but tonight the real stuff is coming, and we're going to get out there nice and early, see what shows up. Let's go. All right, here we go. We're setting off on foot. Gonna head down into the jungle here, stay in until it gets dark, and see what we can turn up. I have a feeling some Chopodelamus are on the cards tonight. First reptile in hand of this walk is this nice gecko with a full tail. I actually can't remember if we saw this one last time, but I'm on a mission, so I'm not going to stop to photograph this guy. Just going to let him go. He hasn't actually got a full tail, it's just most of one. There's one of many vine snakes seen already tonight in the first almost 2 hours of walking. This is the first one that's like decently filmable though, so I'll show this one and probably none others from this point out. We've been hiking for 3 hours now, and there's not a single sign of a viper, which is Not encouraging, to say the least. I don't know what the hell is going on. I was expecting at least a sub walking around down here, but went to the areas where I saw them last time and just nothing. Quite unfortunate. All right, we had a little break around 8:30 to 9:30 for dinner. Now we're getting back out to a different area. Similar spot to last night, but we're heading to an area we didn't walk before. I don't know where the Tropodlemus are. Bad luck so far. They weren't exactly coming out of our ears last time. It took a lot of effort to turn up the 9 or whatever that we saw. But are they high up in trees? Do you see any up there? I don't. This is our obligatory tarsier of the night. We've seen many actually, but this is one's in a nice position to film. Cute little guy. Not much in the way of snakes though, sadly. Lots of tarsiers. Hey, tonight wasn't a total bust in terms of species. We went back to where Alex and I got the Rhabdophis chrysargoids last time, and because of my knee, I can't really hike streams well. So I deployed Leo on a mission, and he caught this. He actually caught 2 of these, but only brought one up to the road where I'm walking nearby. And you can see what is definitely one of the keelbacks of all time. This one is probably maybe 2%, 3% nicer than the one we saw last time. Just because I feel like the patterning is there's some remnant patterning that you can just about make out on the interior. It's still got a kind of orangish venter. In some ways, it's reminiscent of a Nerodia rifragaster from the United States, actually. I thought that last time I saw one, the much bigger one that we got last time. But this is still an adult. They're actually really, really pretty as juveniles. They got a lot of patterning, but they completely lose it with age. And this will probably be the last snake of the night because it's getting late. There's not much active, at least not target-wise. And since we picked this up, we're probably going to be happy to call it a day. But that's another species number 6 of our 2 nights here so far. And hopefully we can add to that with some vipers tomorrow and maybe some other cool snakes as well. So yeah, one last look at this guy before we wrap up and call it a night. All right, it's now the last day here in Sulawesi. We were originally kind of planning on not really doing any serious herping today, since the previous couple of days just kind of showed that there was almost 0 point looking for vipers. But in the morning it did rain pretty damn heavily for a couple hours or so. So I almost slipped. Yeah, it's been raining, so everything's muddy. Anyway, we're kind of hoping that might have stirred up some more activity, and it's given us a renewed resolve taking on the final day and night. It's late afternoon now. We're just getting out for a little walk. Then we'll probably grab some dinner at some point before getting out properly at night. But gonna check out some spots we haven't walked before, and then maybe some we have. Just try the best areas. So look at the view, the volcanoes in the background. That's freaking awesome. That's Indonesia for you right there. Yeah, look at that. Amazing views here on our final day. Everything's kind of damp, but the sun's warming up things now. Let's see what shows up. I'm checking out some really cool areas that I haven't even been to, as well as ones that I have been to last time and seen subannulatus. But despite how good they look and how hard I search, I just cannot find a viper. It's crazy actually how absent they are. Snakes are never, snakes never fail to confuse. We just got back from another absolutely brutal skunking session. You can see the sweat from where I had my backpack on, hiking up and down these valleys. Jeez, it looked so good, and yet didn't see a single thing. So we've got little break now, gonna have an early dinner, and then we've got one final night to try and get one of our targets. I want to get one of them tonight. The weather's been great all day, so there should be something active tonight. We're going to go to a totally new area, and I'll catch you when we get out there. All right, just had dinner, and we're going to check out a new spot on our last night. A completely different area than we've been before. So fingers crossed we can turn something up. Let's go. These ranids are jumping around everywhere here, especially on the more rainy times. It obviously rained this morning, so the forest is a bit damp. So it's decent frog activity. Nothing really crazy. I've never seen a particularly nice frog in Sulawesi. This waterfall is absolutely giant and kicks up like the craziest amount of spray. I'm getting wet standing really far away from it here. Wow. Now we're graveyard maxing. That's what it's come down to. Searching along the edge of a graveyard into the jungle hoping for a snake that might as well be a fucking ghost. Look who spotted the snake. A little mock viper in situ here. This is our first snake of the night so far. Our first snake of the day, actually, full stop. So, safe to say, I'm actually kind of happy to see this. It unskunked us, and it's not a prass, which is better than nothing. It's this cute little mock viper. Our third mock viper of the trip, actually. Obviously, the one you saw in video before. Then Leo saw one when we were hiking separately the other night, and this time, Cass spotted one. I walked right past this as I was locked in looking for vipers in the trees, not at the literal vegetation I'm pushing through. But let's get this cute little guy in hand now.
You're gonna get spiked with the plant.
No, the plant will be fine. It's the bites from the snake I'm worried about. Yeah, there we go. Typical mock viper fashion. He can't wait to get his teeth into me, this guy. He can't wait. He's cute though. I like these guys. Nice little orange venter at the top. Can't find a place suitable to bite. All right, I'm putting you back. Yo, so a bat just decided to crash land. Look at him, he's walking. Hey, you know the hilarious thing about bats is when they land, if you guys, probably most of you know this, but they have to walk back up to a high place in order to fly again. And this guy just, for whatever reason, crash landed at my feet. Here, we can get a good look at him here. That's the most interesting thing of the night, guys. Soak it in. I'm gonna leave him alone now. Oh, he took off. Ah! What the fuck? You idiot, you crash landed again. Bro smacked into me and crash landed. Oh my God, this is just pure clownery. There we go. Oh, not towards me. Okay, he made it. Yo, he took off straight up off the ground. He just went to like an open area and just took off. That's kind of impressive. Look at this interesting like swamp eel just in this little creek flowing across the trail. But he's slimy. Yeah, look at him go. You'd easily mistake that for a snake if you didn't know any better. Look, check that out, guys. There's a tarsier holding a baby in its arms there. As if they couldn't be cute enough already. I cannot believe it. On our final hike, we got not the snake we were looking for, but we did get Tropodelamus, which is absolutely better than nothing. There is a, oh, hello, a very defensive, rapidly defensive, I believe this is a huge adult male, like full-grown adult male. Looking at the bands, I'd say almost certainly. It's got a huge meal at the mid-body, though, which immediately made me think it was a female because it was so fat from far away. But going up close, no, it's a huge male. And after so long, we finally turned up a Tropodelamus, which is a encouraging sign. We should probably stick at it tonight. I'll get a closer look at this one for sure. But yeah, big meal in the stomach of this adult male Tropodelamus subannulatus sulawesi clade. Bruh, look at the size of the meal. It's eaten like a huge lizard or bat. It's hard to know exactly what the hell this thing ate, but it's very elongated with part of it sticking out, and this thing can't even climb back onto the branch it was on. That's how big that food bolus is. This is crazy, man. Absolutely insane. All right, we didn't want to move him far, so I just moved him like one plant over. Just the size of this food bolus is comedic, just ridiculous. Oh my word. What a ridiculous looking snake. All right, we left that one where it was now because it was obviously had the huge food bolus, but that's given me even more motivation to believe it's possible tonight, even though it's already after midnight and both of us have got to fly tomorrow. Got to make this happen, man. All right, unfortunately, nothing else was turned up that night. We tried a little harder after we found the one viper, but nothing else showed up, so we wrapped up around like 1:30 a.m. and went back to the room. And of course, when we're leaving today, now is when it starts just raining heavily and doesn't look like there's any sign of stopping for the rest of the day. Typical.